Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to the first episode of this thing. This is the Convention Reviews podcast. Super simple name because I just want to keep it simple. I went back and forth. What is this going to be? I don't know. I thought of like some kind of cool names, and then some people on my Facebook group helped me out and were like, hey, here's some good names. And I'm like, these are awesome. But in the end, I decided to go with the Convention Reviews podcast because it's the most straightforward. So this is the first episode. I'm going to go through, I wrote down kind of what this is, so I'm going to read through this really quick so you guys kind of have an idea of what's going on, and then we'll really get into the meat of this podcast. So this is the first episode, episode 1 of the Convention Reviews podcast. This is the official podcast for the Convention Reviews YouTube channel. Whether it's just me or if I have a guest with me, this is where I talk about all things happening and coming up in the cosplay and convention world, as well as reading convention stories from you, the listener. That'll be happening a little later on. And ending it all out by answering your questions. It posts every Monday on YouTube and the Convention Reviews SoundCloud, coming soon to iTunes. So I just threw a lot at you. Basically, about the iTunes thing, I'll start posting this on iTunes after we hit 10 episodes. So I just want to get 10 episodes out, make sure I really like how this is going. I'm being much more serious about this than past podcasts and things that I've done of this nature. So I'm sure we'll get to 10 episodes in no time, and then I'll start posting them on iTunes. But I don't want to go through all the trouble of getting on iTunes just to be like, I'm not really feeling it, people aren't really feeling it, and then just pull back. But I have no plans to do that. Everything should go good, and in 10 episodes, you guys will be able to listen to this on iTunes and wherever you want. But until then, just check it out on the YouTube channel and on the SoundCloud if you'd rather listen to it there. Now, I do want to admit, this is actually my second time recording episode 1 for this. I recorded one like a week or so ago, and I really liked it, but since then, I sort of totally changed how the podcast is going to go. When I recorded it, I had like no idea of what I really wanted to do with this thing. I just kind of did it to be like, hey, you should start and you should record something, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I really believe that if you want to do something, you should just jump straight in and you'll figure it out. And that's exactly what happened. So I did the first episode. Maybe I'll post that up for you guys to hear someday, the like episode 0, I guess. But then after I did that, I decided how I actually want the show to go. It just kind of took, dipping my toe in a little bit to like really figure out what I wanted to do with this. So I'm glad I did that, but I don't know when you guys will ever hear that, if ever. I do want to try to keep this show to around 40 minutes, maybe less. In the past, when I did some other shows, I would normally go over an hour, like when we did Nakamacast, if any of you guys listen to that, and when I did ACR Weekly, which was on the same YouTube channel, we would go over an hour, and people would complain a lot that it was too long. I do want to say that the general idea of a podcast isn't to be overly short. Like, it's supposed to be listened to while you're maybe doing something else, and you'll notice if you're on YouTube, it's just a random image on the background. I'm not even posting any video as of now. Maybe I will someday if you guys want that. But right now, I'm just in my room. There's not a lot to look at. Like, there's no real reason for me to post any video. There's nothing to even look at on this. It's kind of just supposed to play in the background while you're doing something else, like playing games or whatever. I like to listen to podcasts when I'm working or in the car or playing games. But just so you guys know, because the last time when I did the other podcast, a lot of people didn't seem to understand that also you don't need to listen to it all at once. Like, I don't care if you don't sit and listen to it all at once. Just, listen to what you can, come back later. It's fine. But we are going to try to keep it a little bit shorter. If I do go to around an hour, it'll only be like when I have a guest, which is another thing. This is my podcast, my personal podcast. So before, I'd always have other people from the crew on here, but not anymore. Those days are over. They will be on here. Like, it's not to say they won't be on here. I'm sure I'll have Dakota on here at some point. I'm sure I'll have Drew on here. I'm sure I'll have Nate. Did I already say Nate? Dakota and Nate and Drew. But they're not going to be on here every week like what would happen before, where it was kind of a joint podcast. This is my thing to really talk to you guys, get to know you guys better, you guys get to know me better, and just more one-on-one. I can really direct this any way I want to go. And with that, before we really get into what this podcast actually is, like we get into the segments, because this is a segmented show, so we're going to run through a few different things. I do want to first talk kind of about ACR Weekly just a little bit, which is the last podcast that I did on the Convention Reviews channel with Nate and Dakota. It was fun. We had a 12-episode run, and then it just kind of ended abruptly. We had no intention to end it there, and I will admit I'm the one that ended it in the end. But what originally happened was we were starting to get into the holiday season. Dakota and I work the same job, and at this job, when you get into the holiday season, it gets a little bit impossible to do anything, and it was very hard for our schedules to match up, especially with Nate's. It just kind of became impossible to keep going, so we decided, we'll stop for now and we'll come back when we can. And then as time went on, I realized, having a podcast where I'm with other people all the time right now isn't good for me. I can't really pull it off right now. My schedule is too weird compared to other people's. I have too much going on, and I don't have a studio. Like, this was being done out of my bedroom, and it's just not ideal. So I kind of decided I wanted to end that, and originally I was not going to do any more podcasting at all until I decided, you know what, maybe I can do something on my own. It won't be too hard to set up every week, because setup will be very minimal if I'm not having to record anything, and I can just do it at my desk, in my room. I don't have to worry about matching any schedules. I can do it whenever. That would be a lot better, and I could actually make that a better show. So that's what we're trying out. We'll see how that goes. So that's why ACR Weekly ended. Basically, I just couldn't keep it going. It was becoming impossible to maintain. With all that, excuse me, I can't talk apparently. I'm losing my mind. It's really early in the morning right now, though. I just slept for 13 hours. And woke up 3 hours ago. It's 6 a.m. right now. So I woke up at 3 in the morning. Or no, I woke up at 2 in the morning. And I slept for 13 hours, so I fell asleep at 11 a.m. yesterday? Because I've been working midnights at my job for the last 3 months, and it's just taken it out of me. I feel destroyed. But starting next week, things are getting back to kind of a normal schedule. I'm going to make a lot less money, but oh well, I'll have some sort of a life again. But with that out of the way, let's get into the first topic. Normally, the first thing we'll talk about on this show is news. We'll talk about any convention, anime, gaming, or YouTube news that's happened in the last week that I felt was interesting enough to talk about on the show. We're not going to actually do that this week just because it's the first episode, and I really didn't have a lot of time this week with work to be able to compile all the news together. So next week we'll have any sort of news. If you guys know any sites that have anime, gaming, convention, or YouTube related news, let me know about those. Leave those in the comments if you're on YouTube. And I have an email. I'll mention the email later because I can't remember what it is right now. That's probably not good. But or email those sites to me so that I can find ways to easily compile all this news together to present it to you guys. So next, what we'll always talk about is cons happening this coming weekend. So this coming weekend is, I think it's the 6th through the 8th, or the 7th and the 8th of January. And this is where we talk about all the anime, comic, and gaming conventions that are happening this coming weekend. So there's tons of different conventions. There's sci-fi, there's furry conventions, there's horror conventions. We're only going to stick to anime, comic, and gaming since that is generally what my channel covers. Alright, we have 12 cons coming up this weekend as of what I can find. I've compiled these from a bunch of different sites. If you guys know anywhere else or any sites that have good lists of cons coming up, let me know, because it seems that there's no one site that has all of the cons happening, which is one of the reasons I kind of wanted to do this in the podcast, is to kind of compile everything into one place, as far as anime, comics, and gaming at least. So let's just go down the list. First is Okay, it's in Arkansas. It's in Little Rock, Arkansas, January 5th through the 9th, 2017, obviously, at the Embassy Suites in Little Rock. I don't know how I'm supposed to say this. Arcon. It's Arc, A-R-K, and then Con. So C-O-N-S-A-S. So it's like Arkansas, but Con's in the middle of it. Arkansas, I guess is how you're supposed to say it. Arkansas. 2 is Anime Zap from January 6th to the 8th in East Peoria, Illinois, in the Embassy Suites. This is a con that I went to last year. I really wish I could be going this year, but unfortunately, I have to save money. Don't have very many cons early this year. The beginning of this year is going to be very, very, very sparse for me. I only have one con before May. Then when May hits, a lot of things will start to pile up a little bit, but until then, can't make it to Anime Zap this year. Sorry, guys, because I've had some people asking. I'm not going to make it. 3 is IzumiCon, January 6th to the 8th in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in the Cox Convention Center. Next is SAC Anime, January 6th to the 8th in Sacramento, California, in the Sacramento Convention Center. Next is Taiyocon, something like that, January 6th through the 8th in Mesa, Arizona, in the Mesa Convention Center. 6 is the Unconventional Convention. Wow, what a name. January 6th through the 8th in Omaha, NE. You guys are going to think I'm an idiot, but I don't know what NE is. Hold on, we're going to Google it really quick. You're going to have to deal with me not knowing things for a little while. Oh, Nebraska. I'm an idiot. Come on, Cody, get it together. Nebraska. So Unconventional Convention is in Omaha. Oh my God, Omaha. I literally just read Omaha, and I didn't know I was in Nebraska. Guys, it's 6 in the morning. You're going to have to cut me some slack. In the Doubletree by the Hilton in Omaha downtown. Unconventional Convention. Check it out. The Asian Karaoke Idol Invitational. This sounds more like an event than a convention, but this can be like any kind of cosplay, Japanese-related events. That is January 7th through the 8th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 8 is Wizard World New Orleans, which is obviously in New Orleans, in Louisiana, from January 6th through the 8th. 9 is Magfest, a con I've wanted to go to for so long, and I'm really sad I'm missing this. Literally for the last 3 years, I've said, next year, I'll be at Magfest, guys. Just you wait and see. But once again, I will be missing Magfest. Next year, I'm going to be there. Things just keep changing, keep happening in life that I would have been there this year, 100%, if it wasn't for the fact that I'm backpacking the Philippines in April. If I didn't have to have money for that, I would have been at Magfest this year. But that's in the National Harbor in Maryland from January 5th through the 8th. That is a gaming and music convention. That convention looks freaking awesome. If you're in Maryland and you didn't know that Magfest was happening next weekend and you somehow have the money, go to that con. It looks amazing. ShadowCon in this is 10. ShadowCon, West Memphis, Arkansas from January 6th through the 7th. EverCon from January 6th through the 8th in Westo, Wisconsin. I think that's what the WI means. I need to go back to school. KotoriCon 12, this is the last one. KotoriCon, January 6th through the 7th in Sewell, New Jersey. Probably butchered that town name. And it's at a college. Rowan College. All right. From 6th to the 7th. I think I said that already. Okay. That's all the cons happening this weekend. You guys going to any of those? Let me know in the comments below if you're on YouTube. And without further ado, we'll get into what's going to be one of my favorite things to do on this podcast, which is convention story time. That's right. Every week on Monday, you guys are getting a new convention story time brought to you by you. So, this is where you guys send me in stories of crazy things that have happened to you while at a convention, and I read it on the show for everyone. Remember that if you want to get your story read on the show, just email it to me at acrstories@yahoo.com. That's right, yahoo.com, acrstories@yahoo.com. Not gmail.com, because for me, it's apparently like the mid-2000s, early 2000s, and I use Yahoo. Don't know why. Don't ask me. Just never used a Gmail. I don't know why. I'm definitely behind the times. So this first story, I don't actually have written down who it's from. That's probably a mistake. I'm actually backed up on a lot of stories that people sent me back when I was doing the Convention Storytime volumes, and I would love to get back to those, but I thought this would be a great place to get through some of those, and it would be interesting to do on the podcast. Just a little warning, though, before I get into this first one. When I would read these for standalone videos, when I did the volumes, Storytime volumes, they would definitely be scripted, as in I would read them multiple times. So if I messed something up, I would just read it again so that there would never be any mistakes in the reading. Obviously, I can't do that on a podcast where it's kind of live and this isn't nearly as edited. So cut me a little bit of slack if I mess things up. I will obviously get way better at reading these as time goes on, but we got to start somewhere. So let's do this. Again, I apologize. I don't know who this is from, but they were awesome enough to send it in. Let's get started. Hey, Convention Reviews. I've got a pretty good con story I'd like to share. This took place at a pretty big convention this year. Before I tell my story, I would like to mention that I am very shy and an awkward person who doesn't like any confrontation. I was cosplaying Lust from Full Metal Alchemist this day. My sister and I were in the Artist Alley when I remembered that I wanted to catch a panel that was taking place in a couple of minutes upstairs from the dealer's room. She wasn't interested, so I went by myself. The panel was the last one to take place that day, so it went over into after the main floor had already closed. Also, it was super late at night. The rest of the con had closed, is what they're saying, I guess. Okay. Once the panel was over, I saw my phone had died, so I started heading back to the dealer's room where I thought I may be able to find my sister. Hold on a second. The dealer's room was still open, even though the rest of the con had closed? I've never seen that happen. So I went down the first set of stairs to find the floor. Oh, okay. I went back down the first set of stairs to find the floor in front of the entrance to the dealer's room completely empty, except for myself and these two men who looked to be in their 20s who were leaning against the wall having a conversation. So I guess they're not saying that the dealer's room would be open. They just thought their friend would be there. All right, my mistake. I started to walk past them, and suddenly one of them jumps off the wall and gets in front of me. He asks, "Who are you cosplaying?" while looking me up and down. I tell him that I'm Lust from Full Metal Alchemist. He pauses for a moment, then grabs my hand and strokes up my arm to my collarbone and says, "Oh, Lust, your powers are working." Feeling uncomfortable, I nodded, pulled back, and started to walk off toward the next set of stairs. I hear his friend say, "Hey, I'm going to go to the car," and then look off to the other direction. Oh, and then took off in the other direction. The guy starts following me down the hall yelling, "Hey, wait up." I ignore him. He catches up to me and asks what I'm up to. I awkwardly tell him as I'm walking that I'm meeting my sister who's waiting around the corner. He starts to walk faster and keeps up with me, standing way too close to me. I'm talking like his face is an inch from my face. His breath was awful, by the way. And his stomach is bumping into my hips. He's asking me about what Full Metal Alchemist is. Oh, come on, dude. You're at a convention, you never even heard of Full Metal Alchemist? And about who Lust is. And makes comments about how cute and shy I am. This guy's freaking creepy. I'm giving him short, blunt answers as I'm hurrying to the stairs. Now he's asking me about the costume and how I made it. He says, "What's this made of?" and firmly grabs the fabric where my butt is and unzips the zipper on the back of my dress. Oh, no, he doesn't unzip it. I read that wrong. That'd be way worse. He firmly grabs the fabric where my butt is and grabs the zipper off the back of my dress. Lust dress is very tight, body-hugging dress, and for any of you who don't know, I almost jump out of my skin and say, "Hey there, you're touching a little too much." He stops walking and yells, "Okay then," and walks back toward where he was originally sitting, mumbling something about a slut. I was really nervous at this point, feeling flustered. I was almost to the stairs when out of nowhere this guy jumps in front of me. I'm not sure how he did this. He must have ran. He grabs my shoulders and says, "Hey, sorry about that, then violently grabs the back of my head and pushes my face into his chest. I'm frozen. He strokes my hair and lower back, then whispers, "Yes, hug your daddy, yes." I'm so freaked out that I'm afraid to move. He just lets go and walks away without a word. Oh, man. I run the rest of the way to the stairs and find my sister sitting at the bottom, where all the other con attendees are waiting for rides and such as well. I tell her what happened. She's ready to hunt the guy down, but I just wanted to leave. I didn't see him the rest of the weekend. I seriously regret not reporting him to con staff. I guess I just didn't want to make a scene. Well, that's my story. Really hope to see this in a video soon. Love your channel. Thank you very much. Person whose name I didn't write down because I'm not a professional, apparently. That is really creepy. That's almost creepy to the point that I want to question if that's even real, but I believe you. I don't believe that you would send in a fake story. That's messed up. That's really messed up. I commend you for not, hitting this dude, but maybe you were scared. I mean, I would be really scared. If I were you in that moment, oh my God. What do you think, guys? Let me know what you think about that story in the comments below, because that's effed up. And don't forget that if you want to send in a story, like I said at the beginning, just send it to acrstories@yahoo.com, and it will probably show up on here eventually. I just got to get through them. I got 50 of these to get through. Next is where we talk about this week's topic. We're going to move on to the next segment. This is where I bring a topic that I have interest in talking about this week, whether it's something that's happened within the community or it's something that's just been on my mind. It's just a chance for me to sit down and really talk to you guys about something. So we're going to make this one quick because we still have questions to get to. This week, I want to talk about motivation and inspiration and following your dreams, which isn't going to be something that we're going to talk about a lot on here. This is an anime, gaming, convention, nerd podcast, cosplay podcast. So talking about following your dreams, that can be saved for the inspirational podcast, even though I'm really big about that kind of stuff. But I just wanted to talk about it because I was really unsure on even starting this podcast, and I went back and forth about it a lot in my head. And I just remembered that, if you really want to get anywhere in life, at some point you just got to do it. You just got to stop thinking about it and just go out of your comfort zone and do it. Like Shia LaBeouf said, just do it. He's actually right. A lot of people make fun of it, but dude's on to something. Let's be real here. He's on to something. He knows what he's talking about. So I kind of thought back, because I've been thinking about this for a little while, and I'd never done anything. And I kind of thought back to, when I started the Convention Reviews channel. I didn't know how to do anything. I had never edited a cosplay music video before. I had never made a review. I had never really made, a real vlog ever. And I just decided this is something I wanted to do. And I went out there with my camera to conventions and just started recording and just started doing things. And I just kind of figured it out as I went. It just sucks because doubt is going to stop more people than failure ever will. That's something I read somewhere. And it's true. If I would have just sat there when I started convention reviews and just kept doubting myself. If I was like, well, I've never done this before. I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't think that this is something I can do. Like, what if I fail? This isn't good. Just remember that, like, you have to fail to get anywhere in life. And I did fail. I have so many videos out that did not perform nearly where I wanted them to, nearly in any way that I had hoped for. There's so many times where I've put out a video and I'm super excited about it. And I'm like, this is going to be a hit. My subscribers are going to love this. Like, this is totally up their alley. And the views are really minimal. There's none or almost no comments. It gets tons of dislikes. I've had that happen so many times. And that's failure. I mean, that video failed. But that's okay, because you learn something from that. Every time I did that, I learned something. You have to be able to find lessons in failure. And because of being willing to go out there and fail and learn from those things and just get started, I'm now where I'm at today, which is really close to hitting 10,000 subscribers. There was a time when 100 subscribers blew my mind. And then there was a time when 1,000 subscribers blew my mind. I was like, if I have 1,000 subscribers, I've made it. It's done. You're famous, kid. And then I hit 1,000 subscribers, and I was like, well, that's not true. When you get there, it doesn't really feel like that much. But it's crazy to think that you really can hit your goals. Like, if you really want to do something in life, guys, just start. Just go and do it. And now I'm about to hit 10,000 subscribers. Blows my mind, but my entire outlook on life has changed since back then. When I started, I thought 10,000 subscribers is something that I would probably never hit. I was just kind of doing this because I like to do it. Now I look at it and I'm like, 100,000 subscribers. That seems crazy to a lot of people, but it doesn't seem so crazy to me anymore. I totally see how it's done. I totally see that you can do whatever you want to do. It's just about going and doing it. So I believe that I will definitely hit 100,000 subscribers at some point if I just keep evolving and doing things, and maybe even 1 million at some point, which at a time I always would say impossible. I'll never, ever, ever come even close to 1 million subscribers. And who knows, I might not. But I totally feel like I could now. I really believe in myself, and I believe that I could. And I just want to say that just do things, guys. If there's something you want to do, you need to follow your passion. You really should. That's what living is following your passion. I'm not saying get on YouTube. I'm not saying follow what I'm doing. But I know there's something. If I were to sit any of you guys listening to this right now down and ask you, what is your passion? What are you passionate about? Whatever the first thing that comes to your mind is, that's your passion. That's what you want to do. And you need to find a way to do it. Because in today's world, it's easier than ever. And in today's world, you can really make money from anything. And I know it's not about the money. And I don't do anything that I do for money. But unfortunately, you have to make money to survive in the world, which really sucks. But just know that you can do your passion. People are always going to tell you, take the safe route. The safe route isn't as safe as you think, guys. You can fail doing something you hate. So why not try for something you love? Jim Carrey said that once in a speech, and that stuck with me forever. Jim Carrey, the comedian. Yeah. He's right, though. He's totally right. You can fail at the safe route. So why would you ever take the safe route? I don't believe in the safe route at all. But that's a whole nother topic. All I'm saying, guys, is a lot of people are afraid to even admit what their passion is, admit what they want to do. I know there's people out there who are probably like, I want to be a professional gamer, but they're afraid to even say that to people. You need to get over that. You have to start just doing it. And start little by little. If you want to be a professional gamer, get on Twitch and start gaming. Chances are you're going to fail at first. You're not going to have any sort of an audience. You're not going to have anything. But when you fail, you need to learn from that. Why is nobody watching? Why do people come to my stream and say, this is garbage? Listen to what they have to say. Even if they're rude about it, they're telling you something that you can learn from. So what I want you guys to do, if you're listening to this on YouTube, I want you to scroll down to the comments right now and tell me what it is you want to do. What is your passion that you want to follow? Like, if you could do anything in the world, what is it that you want to do? Just start by telling me that in the comments. I know for some people that's hard to do, but just do it. You have to start somewhere. And that's pretty much it on my rant about inspiration. Sorry, that was super off, like, what this podcast is supposed to be about. But I just want to get that out there. I want people to know that it just makes me so sad that there's so many people in the world who could do amazing things and could really have an amazing life, and they just never follow that. They never try because of self-doubt. Self-doubt is going to kill more dreams than failure ever will. Never forget that. Don't fear failure. Let it guide you. All right, let's move on to Q&A. Every week at the end of the episode, or every week I end the episode off by answering your questions. Remember that you can leave a question. Sorry, I read this totally wrong. I had an intro. We're going to totally reread this. Every week I end the episode off by answering your questions. Remember that if you have a question, or for that matter, even something you want to hear me talk about for that week's topic, send it to acrweekly@yahoo.com. I'm not taking comments off of YouTube, or I'm not taking questions off of YouTube comments anymore. These questions I'm about to answer were left on Q&A Wednesday, the last video that I did for that, because I needed some questions to answer for this first one. And I don't think these ever got answered anywhere. But in the future, send them to acrweekly@yahoo.com. I am still using the email for ACR Weekly because why not? And I will answer your questions at the end of the show. We have 9 questions today. So let's start so we can get through them. Number 1 is from Philip Helicature. We're just going to say Philip. No idea how to pronounce that last name. He says he can't wait to listen to the podcast because I had talked about that I was going to do this on social media. He asked his question there. Here's a question for you. If you watch anime, which show or series got you interested into watching more anime? If there is one. For me, it was Madoka Magica. First of all, I just want to say that's hilarious that it was Madoka Magica for you. Not to say anything about the show. The show's fine. It's just that seems so newish to me. I can't believe you must be young, or you got into anime kind of late. And then again, I'm sure a lot of my listeners are pretty young. For me, I started off with Dragon Ball, and then kind of got into Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, 90s kid. So all that kind of stuff that was on Toonami back in the late 90s, early 2000s. As far as what really got me into watching anime actively, like where I really knew it was anime, because at that point I thought these were just like cooler cartoons, like adult cartoons. When I knew it was anime, I knew it was from Japan. It was probably One Piece or Fairy Tail, which I don't really even watch Fairy Tail that much anymore, but that's the first show that I watched and subbed. And so that definitely got me somewhere. But it was probably Full Metal Alchemist or Gurren Lagann, honestly. Like, those were the shows that were probably Gurren Lagann and Full Metal Alchemist that were like, dude, these are awesome. There's more of these out there than you realize. Go find more of these. Watch these actively because this is super good. So it's actually a little later than I expected. I'd known what anime was for a while, but I didn't watch it actively until those shows probably. Jay Neon asks, hey man, how did you get into anime and gaming? Well, I just answered the anime one kind of. As far as gaming, I got into it when I was very young. My brother and I had an NES and an SNES. Well, actually, it was more on the SNES. We played more SNES. I remember playing Super Mario All-Stars with Super Mario World, all on one cart. One of the best collections ever made for the Super Nintendo. It had like all the original Super Mario games plus Super Mario World, which was insane at the time. I remember me and my brother just switching off on deaths for hours playing those games. And then we'd play, as we got a little older, like Banjo-Kazooie, huge inspiration to us. And then eventually Kingdom Hearts, which is probably my favorite game. And then Halo got us a little more into like shooters and that kind of stuff. I don't really play shooters anymore. But yeah, it was just kind of over time growing up. I kind of grew up with it, to be honest. I did actually fall out of games for a little while in like middle school, early high school. But I got right back in eventually, and I go full on. Right now I'm playing Dishonored 2, but Dark Souls is calling me back. It keeps wanting me to come back, and I don't want to come back, Dark Souls, even though I love you so much. Oh my god. Simple Pony 23BZ asks, how would you define a better YouTube, not a channel, but a YouTube as a whole? Like the whole strict copyrights and small channels not getting known. I have no idea. That's way above my head. That's way above my pay grade, Simple Pony. really don't know. I mean, I think the best way to do it, as far as the copyright thing, as far as small channels getting recognized, no idea. The small channels just, at this point, have to figure out how to market themselves. I had to do it, and I'm still doing it. My channel may be about to hit 10,000 subscribers, but it's still nothing compared to some of these channels. And when I was smaller, I had to learn how to market myself. I don't know if it's up to YouTube to advertise you, to be honest. But as far as the copyright thing, that does bother me and that does affect me. I think what really needs to happen is it shouldn't be an automated system that goes through and decides what's being hit with copyright and being taken down. It has to be done by people. People have to see it. Unfortunately, that is literally impossible. There are I don't know what the statistic is, but it's years of video uploaded every second to YouTube. So it's impossible for somebody to watch all of that. To even get a team, you would need hundreds of thousands of people to watch everything that's uploaded to YouTube and decide if it should be hit for copyright or not. Really, I don't have the answer to that. I wish I did, but I don't know. Conorvia? I'm sorry, I'm really bad with these names, guys. Conorvia says, if you got paid to go to conventions, doing big panels, and being VIP, as it would be easier to meet voice actors and special guests like that, what would that mean to you if you reached that fame/goal? This whole dream question I ask. What I would like to see that happen. Well, thank you. To be honest, my dream, my goal, isn't fame. I don't wish to be famous at all. I mean, it's cool if it comes with that, whatever. That's awesome. I like that I can affect people in some way. As far as getting paid to go to conventions, I would like that for the sole purpose of it would mean I could go to more conventions. I'm not ever trying to get rich. I'm not doing anything I'm doing on YouTube to get rich and to just roll around in money. It's not about that. The only reason I even want to get paid for any of this stuff is because you have to get paid. If you want to survive in the world, you have to have money somewhere. And especially more so even with going to conventions. If I'm going to go to more conventions and expand the channel, getting paid by the conventions would be amazing. That means I could be at a con pretty much every weekend, and that would mean so much more content on my channel for you guys. Doing big panels would be awesome if I could get the whole crew. Meeting guests and voice actors, I don't really care about that. I don't really care about guests anymore, to be honest. They're just people, and I don't really care. Shadow Chaos 117 says, because I'm a fan of Pokemon, I got I cannot read this morning, guys. A few quick Pokemon related questions followed by a few other questions. 1, what is your favorite Pokemon? Oh, okay. They write them all back to back. Okay, what is my favorite Pokemon? Don't know. Maybe Raichu. I really like Raichu. Your favorite game in the series? It goes between Generation 2 and Generation 3, so either Gold and Silver or Ruby and Sapphire. It depends what day you ask me. Right now I'm thinking Gold and Silver. Or maybe Ruby and Sapphire. I don't know. One of those two. What's my favorite type? I don't have a favorite type, but I will say that I pick water starters always. What's my favorite evil team in the series? Team Magma? Yeah, Team Magma. What game do I think has the best story? Totally underrated game. Gen 5, Black and White. By far has the best story. And especially if you attach it to Black and White too. It's the most adult story in any of the games. It's really surprisingly good. Even though some of the Pokemon designs in that gen are garbage. The story is amazing. Have you ever heard of a game called Ace Attorney? I have. Never played it. When you were younger, what was your dream job? I wanted to be an astronaut, and then I wanted to be a rapper. Not a joke. There's quite a few questions, but I don't care if you go into detail or not. All right. Number 6, Vin's Writer. Are you planning to go to any gaming conventions or gaming tournaments like PAX, ESL? I don't know what that means. Or TwitchCon, or any. Like, I heard PAX is coming to the Midwest. That'd be a cool experience. That would be an awesome experience. As of right now, I have no plans to go to any of those. I would love to someday. I know my friend Nate is going to PAX. I think it's PAX East. I know he'll be there this year, and I think he'll be doing video. Mr. Chaos, check out his YouTube channel if you want to see that kind of stuff. Jesse, I guess. Jess? I don't know. Burnside says, what is your most fond convention memory with the crew? This is a really hard question. When I wrote this down, I thought about this for a long time. I think, honestly, one of the best memories, there's so many. There's really so many. But one of the best at a con with the crew actually happened this year, 2016, earlier at Anime Midwest. I really, really, really loved everything about recording Drew's video for Anime Midwest. The Can't Stop This Feeling, I think that's the name of the song by Justin Timberlake. Go check that out on his channel. Drewby Doo is the name of the channel. Go check that video out. It was such a good time filming that. We just all had fun. And then the best part about it that really makes that memory good is that even it wasn't just fun. At the end of the day, the video turned out amazing. I think that video is so much better than the video I did for Anime Midwest. It deserves so much more love. So just the entire experience around recording that is one of the best times with the crew. And pretty much the whole crew was there for that. So, yeah, that was amazing. Sprinkle Blitz asks, what do you do with your con badges? Do you throw them away or keep them somewhere special? I prefer to keep mine in a box because memories. I keep all of mine. Never thrown a badge away. I have them on my door, hanging on my closet in my room. I'm literally looking at them right now. It's getting really full, though. I probably am going to have to box them up soon. I have like over 40 of these things. I don't know how they're still on the door. They should be falling off by now. Somehow my cats don't destroy them either. Thank God for that. Last question. Heiki Nano? God, I butchered that. Don't hate me. Heiki Nano. When you're cosplay hunting at cons for your cosplay music videos, what do you look for in a cosplayer? And with that theme, is there a cosplay you saw at a con that really stood out to you? What I look for is a mix of different things. I either look for something that I recognize because I know what kind of things our characters would do to have them do for actions for the video, or something that just really stands out, like would really make the video look good if that was in there. And then I'll kind of ask them, what would you do for the video? Unfortunately, I'd like to record everybody, but unfortunately you can't do that. You really can't. I would just be there all day just recording cosplay and doing nothing else. And then a large amount of it would never get used for anything, and I'd feel bad. Anytime that I have to cut a cosplayer out of the video, whether it's because there's bad lighting, it's out of focus, or it just didn't fit, I always feel bad about that. And I try to use those cosplay in other videos that don't matter as much, but I always try to get them out there somewhere. But as far as what I look for, yeah, it really has to be either something I know or something that really stands out. Or a friend could know it. If a friend knows it and knows what kind of actions they would do, sometimes they'll be like, hey, go record them. That's really good. And I won't even know it's a good cosplay, but they know because they've seen the show or they've played the game that person nailed that. And they'll help me out with recording the video for it. That's kind of what I look for. Sometimes I'll let people come up to me too and ask me to record them, but I don't like that because some people come off really cocky. They'll be like, hey, you're making cosplay music videos, right? Well, I'm in cosplay. Why don't you record me? And it's just like, okay, I can, but sometimes it just doesn't come off right. I know that's bad. And as far as things that stood out to me, there's so many. But this year, there's too many to name. Honestly, I made a video. I think it's the last video that's on my channel before this one called Top 25 Cosplay of 2016. Watch that. That's the 25 that stood out to me this year. Definitely check that out. But, yeah, there's just so many. A lot of them stand out. So many of them stand out that they blend together and no longer stand out. Which is really bad. But that's awesome. That means you guys are killing it. And that's pretty much our show. Please leave comments, criticism. Don't be rude, but please leave criticism on this show. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. We're a little over 40 minutes. I'm going to have to try to keep it down to 40 minutes. I mean, we can go a little over. It's all right. Obviously, I'm still learning. I felt like I rambled a little bit. It's going to get better over time. You just got to start somewhere. It's what I was talking about with the topic of the show. We just got to start somewhere. We started. It's only going to get better from here. No way it gets worse. I guarantee by episode 5, I'll be a pro. Just wait and see. Some things I do want to shout out before we go. Be sure to follow my personal Instagram at Cody Reviews. You can follow the Convention Reviews Instagram at the ACR Crew. You can join the Facebook community If you're on YouTube, there's a link in the description to that. If you're not, go to Facebook and look up Carnivores dash, I think it's dash or slash hyphen, I don't know, one of those, Convention Reviews Community. I post there all the time along with the rest of the crew and hundreds of other fans of the channel. And that's our show, guys. I will see you next week. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and share this with anybody you think would like it. And yeah, that's it. See you guys later.